All right, Coach, just take us through your preparation this week, your message to the team, and what's, kind of going through your mind heading into the Crosstown Shootout.
A busy week, right? With coming off a Providence Kids Day game yesterday, and then obviously preparing for Sunday and then a Tuesday game. So we've really shifted our conversation this morning, talking about, Cincinnati. Really, we've got to get better in so many different areas. And the biggest one that has to happen overnight is our defensive rebounding. They are sending multiple people to the boards. They are aggressive. They are physical. And it's an area where we haven't been great yet. We know we can be good in that area. So this practice this afternoon was spent, making sure that we're boxing out, making sure that we're being physical and aggressive and giving one shot. And obviously trying to take away their great guard play. They have 3 guards who are doing a really good job carrying a load for them. Obviously, they're not where they want to be record-wise, but plagued with injuries and this early in the year, I think they're still trying to gel as well. So we've got to be really disciplined on the defensive side of the ball and clean up some things.
I was just going to ask, what's your message to your group when you look at that record for Cincinnati and it might not be as indicative as what they actually are as a team?
Sure. Ignore the record, right? We don't talk much about records of the other team. We know they're young. They're probably having those conversations, but we have a really basketball-minded group who watch a lot of games, and they see, right? They've had some players out. They see that, they've had some players rejoin the roster and trying to get into a rhythm. So we're not allowing that to define who they are, right? They're a very good team who has had a few bumps and bruises, who's trying to put the pieces together. They had a few really good spurts in that Miami, Ohio loss. And they're going to be hunting for this one, right? This is a rivalry game. This is one you have to get up for, and you have to make sure that you're on point with all your details. So we need to approach it with that and not get distracted by any of the other things like a record.
You play a couple of Big East games, and you go back to the non-conference, and you go back to Big East play. Is there anything different about going into conference play and then going back out of the non-conference? I know it's all basketball at the end of the day, but is there anything different as a coaching staff when you have some familiarity with all these teams?
I would say yes. I mean, it's been different with other groups that we've coached when we've gone in conference and back out non-conference. But I think with this group being so new and so young and starting to put all the pieces together, we spend less time talking about that and more time talking about our own identity, our own areas that we need to clean up, our own lessons that we need to learn, instead of this is conference game, this is important, this is rivalry game, that kind of dance back and forth. We really want to show up for every game with the same intensity and drive and focus and grit, and we haven't done that yet. So we're trying to stay true to our process and figure out how to put the pieces better together in practice when you're called upon, so that when you get into the game, that's what you're consistently showing up with.
I asked you kind of a version of this the other day after the game, but I would love to know what you think about this year's team and how differently they have played as opposed to previous years. Stylistically, it looks like you're playing more up-tempo and trying to do things different because of the talent that you have. Ryan Noel has been fantastic to watch this year, along with several others. So just take us through, kind of individually how you feel like everybody is prepared for Sunday.
Yeah, this is the progression that we had hoped for. Obviously, coming in to a team late when we first got the job a couple of years ago, right, and trying to put the pieces together. There were multiple games we played with 6 players, right? We didn't have the bodies to be able to play up tempo. We had to try to be creative with some of the things that we were doing. We thought we took a step towards that last year. Weren't as able to go as deep into our rotation as we thought we would. But I think now with the talent, like you said, with Mariah, heading up and being able to put the ball in the basket, and the confidence that she plays with has allowed us to be able to push pace a little bit. We don't have to rely on outletting to Medi as much as we have in the past, so we can grab it off the rim and get into transition a little bit more quickly. Now, I would like to clean up how we're getting from transition into our half-court offense. I think that's a place where we typically get pretty stagnant. But I think just the addition of Mariah has just been great in so many fronts. She's challenging her teammates. She calls them up. I think she has infused so much confidence in Mackenzie Givens and her play too. So she's been such a great addition to our roster. But I think obviously so many others are stepping up. Vivian Nayasmik, right? It didn't play very minutes last year. And is stepping up, and she gives up height in the post, but she is strong, and she's going to battle. She's playing with confidence. She's much more vocal, and I think just the conversations they're having in this locker room with this group of people, they expect to win. They're coming out with confidence, and it's exciting to watch them grow.
How fun is it to be part of a rivalry that means so much to a city like this?
Oh, yeah. You didn't quite understand it when you first got here. I got it by the first time we played there the first year. But to see it all over social media, to hear it everywhere you go, when you're walking around with the X on, I mean, everybody comes up and is like, oh, let's go X when you see them normally from week to week. But rivalry week, I've been at the grocery store, I've been at the bank, and it's like Crosstown Shootout. And it gives you chills. It's just so exciting to be a part of such a just strong, aggressive, it's for bragging rights, it's everything type of rivalry, and you feel it, it's palpable. So we're excited as a staff. Obviously, they're excited as players, wanting to keep our mind focused on our goals, but we know what it means.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.